everybody, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I am going to be showing you guys how to do my everyday makeup tutorial, routine, everything like that. It's pretty simple. I don't do anything super duper crazy. So let's get started. So I like to use two different primers. The first one that I'm going to use is the Laura Mercier foundation primer. This one is honestly just a sample, but I'm in love with it, so I'm probably going to buy it soon or ask for it. Okay, so I get a little bit on my hand, and then I just like to pretty much use this like a moisturizer. By the way, always moisturize your face and use like under eye cream. If you have a lot of creasing, use under eye cream before you do your makeup, like 10 minutes before, like I just did. So I use that one all over my face, and then I use the primed and poreless primer. This is just to create a smooth surface, so I use it over the spots where I have most pores, like right here and on my T-zone and a little on my chin. So I just take a really small amount of this one because a little bit goes a long way. And just like really work it into the pores. And this is the one, like there are a few poreless primers that I've tried before, but this is one of them that I just really think works. Like I've tried Baby Skin and that does nothing for me. And like at first I was like, oh my gosh, it works so well, but it doesn't. After you've tried like these other ones, you're like in shock. If I have extra though of this, I do tend to put it like all over my face because I accidentally got too much. Like I generally like to let my primer sit in, so I will catch up with you guys in like 5 minutes or so. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys what I use for foundation. That's like my next general step. There are a few different foundations that I like to use. It just kind of depends on like my skin tone at the time or whatnot. The first is a CC cream, and this is like the illuminating one, so there's a little bit of like sparkle in there. And then I have the Makeup Forever stick, and I use this one when I'm like the most pale that I've ever been. Then I have my Born This Way foundation, and this one's a little bit dark on me right now. I'm very pale all the time, but this is like what I use when I'm just the slightest bit tan, like I spend a day out in the sun. And then I have my Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. That is a mouthful. I am color 1.2, and this is probably what I'm going to use today because it's not as light as the Makeup Forever stick, and it's not as dark as the Born This Way, so I think this is my go-to. So I'm just going to take a few pumps of this on the back of my hand so I can control where the coverage goes. So I did 3 pumps. I start down here. I have like really a lot of redness here. So I start down here and I work it up. I don't know if I already mentioned this. If I didn't, make sure your beauty blender is damp. This side I like to call the trouble side of my face because it's breaking out right now. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Maybe because I've like picked at my nose so many times for blackheads, but right under my nose, I have the worst redness. I try not to do too much on my nose because I want my freckles to show through. For the longest time I hated freckles though, and I would always do my best to cover them. Okay, so I'm going to take like half a pump more so I can blend it down my neck because homegirl does not want a harsh line. I literally take the smallest amount. Okay, so now my foundation is done. Sometimes I go straight into my eyes just because I like to get that done so I don't have any fallout underneath my eyes. First, I'm going to take my all-time favorite Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion and apply that all over my lid. And a little bit of this does go a long way. If you get too much, it gets like cakey and then you can see it through the eyeshadow. Just do a little bit like that. Blend it. And I blend it up to my brow because I apply highlight up here. This is so strange. I never do my makeup out here really, but Linus doesn't sit still when I film videos, even if it's just like me sitting down in front of the camera, but he's behind me right now. Now that my eyes are all primed and stuff, I'm going to grab my eyeshadow palette that I normally use. This is a Z palette, so I put these all in here, like each pan. All the big ones are from Gorgeous Cosmetics, and all the small ones are from Velvet 59, but these are all like individual colors, and it doesn't actually have the name on the bottom of them, which I kind of don't like because I don't know, like if I run out of one, I'm not going to be able to reorder it. First, I'm going to take this color right here. It's the lightest color in the entire palette that's not shimmery. It's a matte color. This one's from the Velvet 59 palette. Then I'm going to take this color, and it's a little bit more like orangey. I do orange tones in my eyes because it makes my blue eyes pop out a little bit more. So I'm going to take this, it's matte, and then I'm going to work it into my crease. Because this is such like an orange tone, you really need to be careful like when you blend it because harsh lines are so easy, like happen so easily. I started making like Instagram makeup video tutorials. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me there because I make fun little tutorials like on how to make little bath bombs or like ornaments or whatever. Makeup. I kind of started doing all the same look at one point, and it was all like orange tones, and people were like, Griffin, this is pretty much the same video over and over. And it was like, oh yeah, you're right, I only do orange tones. So I did one the other day. It's not up yet, but it's gray and black and white tones. I use the same brush, by the way. Probably should use different brushes. At some point I do change brushes, but like I use this one mostly. So now I'm going to take this dark brown color. It's also matte, and I'm going to dab it onto my outer corner. I do find that it's easier to blend if you dab it on. Also, in this Velvet 59 palette, I just realized there's like the prettiest violet color, which I've never used, so I need to use that soon. There's literally something wrong with this eye, and I don't know what it is, but right here, it never blends, and it frustrates the crap out of me. And I don't know if it's like the shape of my eye, or like the way I'm applying the product, but it literally, like, no matter how much product I put in that specific spot, it never blends, so. Okay, so then I take a different brush just because it's such a dark color. I'm taking the darkest color right here, again from Velvet 59, and I'm just going to dab the teeniest little bit in the outer corner just to give it like more definition. So now I'm going to take, I know this brush, I used to use it for color correcting, but I don't do a lot of color correcting right now. I don't know why. It is the Sonia Kashuk Tools number 32. I don't know if that's like the name of the brush, whatever. This is the brush I'm using. I'm going to take a ColourPop Super Shock Shadow and apply it right here, and it's going to be super shimmery, and I'm excited. So I'm going to use the color Summer Loving. Seriously, these are the best. And this one's just like a pinky color. Look at that, it's so shimmery, it almost looks like wet. Oh, it's so good. I don't know what formulas ColourPop uses, but their stuff is super inexpensive and it's all like high quality, and I don't know how they do it because a lot of these brands like at the drugstore aren't that great. Like they have products that are good, but then they're trying to make it affordable. But ColourPop's like literally everything's affordable, everything's good quality. I have another one of these that's white. This one is called Valley Girl, and I'm going to apply that to my inner corner. Now I'm going to do my eyebrows. I used to use like all the Kelly Baker brow products, but I ran out of those. So then I was like, okay, what do I have in my stuff that's like just as good? I actually came across the Brow This Way brow sculpting kit from Rimmel, and I just used, there's like two in here. There's a powder and there's a gel, and I just use a spoolie and roll it around in the gel a little bit and then brush through my eyebrows, and that's it because my eyebrows are super full. Except I've been trying to grow them out and this one's not growing, and it's really frustrating. And then I'm trying to find a spoolie that doesn't have any of the product on it just to brush through them. I'm not even kidding when I say this. I think a lot of my makeup was stolen recently and I don't know like how or where, but I feel like I used to have a lot more like of everything. So the two that I have that I usually use are the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer or the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. We'll do NARS today because I've been doing MAC a lot lately. And I just draw it out like that. And then I also put a little bit on my chin, a little on my upper lip. That one I blend out right there with my finger. On the tip of my nose and straight up my nose. And then on my T-zone. Then I just blend it out with my beauty blender. So I found the best way for your under eyes to not look cakey if you're using like a thick concealer like this is using loose powder, because I used to use pressed powder under my eyes like for the longest time, and I used to actually use like the NYX Banana. So I'm using my Laura Mercier. That's like everyone's go-to. It's my go-to for sure. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you bake. And then I like to take just a little brush and just kind of put a little bit on the rest of my face, so that way like the whole face is set, you know? So I use the Laura Mercier Bronze 03, which is this guy, or I use the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. This one's a little bit more orange toned and this one's like a little bit lighter. I think I'm going to use this one today because I want to go for more of a natural complexion. I love to use this brush for putting on bronzer. This is the Pure Cosmetics blurring powder brush, and I just get a ton on there and then I tap it off. You just kind of go in with like a windshield wiper motion, go under your cheekbones. And if you need to like figure out where to do it, you can like, and that helps. You have to make sure to blend it into your hair a little bit, just because if you don't, there's gonna be like a harsh line. And then I put it around my forehead. You can make your jawline more precise. So much better. Okay, so now since I finished that, I'm going to take the Laura Mercier setting powder again and go underneath just so it makes it a little bit more defined. And my tip for where to bring it is to bring it to the outer corner of your mouth. Time to remove the other powder, not this one because we just put it on, but the other one. I use the e.l.f. blush brush. I know it's for blush, I know, but this is the best baking removal, I guess, brush I have ever used. So then I bring up my bronzer just a little bit because you're supposed to blend your bronzer up, but I couldn't because my setting powder was there. I used two different blushes. I either used the Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush from Tarte in the color Exposed, or the Milani Baked Blush in Rose Dorado. This one has a little bit of like shimmer in it. So this one's more of like a subtle pink undertone, and then this one's like a bam, peach and shimmer and gold in it. I think I'm gonna use the subtle one. So for this, I take the contour brush from Real Techniques. I know I use all my brushes backwards, but hey, I just dab a little on here, dab a little here, and then I used to never ever wear blush, but my friend Teresa introduced it to me, like, so I started using it. Glad I did because it really does add a lot. Okay, now I'm going to contour my nose a little bit, and I am taking the Morphe B37 brush and just going down the sides of my nose very lightly with this because I feel like I've seen so many people do it really harsh and it just, in my opinion, doesn't look that great. Okay, bring it around. There's like these little lines here. Bring it around those a little bit. That just makes you have like a little bit more of a button nose. Cute. And then I do a little line right here. Then I just take my fingers and blend it out. Now it's time to highlight, which is one of my favorite parts. So I either use my Glow Kit from Anastasia, which I'm not going to pull out because that's a hassle to get out, or I use my MAC Soft and Gentle, and I'm going to use this today. One of my all-time favorite brushes is the Morphe G23, and I'm going to take my Soft and Gentle and just get my fan brush in here. And I know everyone like is in love with highlight right now. First, you put it up on like the highest points of your face, so I put it up on my cheekbone, and then I put it on my nose, and I like to make my nose super shimmery, and I also do the bridge of my nose. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've been trying to upload twice a week. Hardest thing of my life. It's so difficult. Oh, I'm glowing. I love it. Only thing I don't like about this highlight is there's so much fallout when you actually get it, so I feel like I'm losing so much product. Now I'm going to apply mascara. Lately, I've been using the They're Real and the Falsies Volume Express. So I first go in with this. This one can get clumpy. That's why I use the They're Real after. I also had to replace the battery because my camera's about to die. So now that my mascara is done, I take any, like this brush is fine. I use it to contour my nose. I'm gonna take just this color and put it like smoke out my under eye. You don't even need like that much. You just put like tiniest little bit and it just like completes the entire look. And then if you want to, I sometimes do this, I sometimes don't. I take the darkest color that I put in, that's like the medium color, and then I take the darkest and put it on the outer corner of my bottom. And then I take the lightest color, and in this case, I don't want to put too much highlight on my eyes, so I'm just gonna take one of these like shimmeries. The lip color that I'm going to be using is MAC Velvet Teddy. This is the color that Kylie Jenner always wears, and it's going to look different on me than it does on her just because I'm very pale. She's very tan. My last and final step, I've said that like 4 times, but this is actually it. I take my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Spray and just spray my face. I do it like 2 or 3 times just because I really want it to say. That is the finished look. Am I out of my head? Am I out of my mind? Alright you guys, that was it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and like I said earlier, subscribe. Also, make sure to leave a comment down below what your favorite makeup product is because I love finding new makeup products. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye!